Hey everyone, and thank you for joining us today. We're really excited to have you here for this joint session with both Diskover and Snowflake, where we'll be discussing how organizations can really unlock and get the most value from their unstructured data when it comes to their both analytic and AI initiatives. So unstructured data is one of the fastest growing, definitely underutilized assets across the enterprise. Today, most of the discussions focused around how Snowflake and Discover can work together to make that data easier to both ingest, curate, analyze, etc. Ultimately, opening up new use cases across analytics, AI, machine learning, and the business as a whole. So for today's session, I'd like to quickly introduce our speakers. First, on the Snowflake side, we're joined by Sap, who's part of our product org here and helps lead our company's data integration, streaming, data ingestion strategy. And during today's webinar, we'll start off by sharing Snowflake's perspective on why unstructured data is becoming essential to our customer base. And then also joining us here today is Olivier, part of the Diskover team, who will walk us through the joint Snowflake Diskover solution, and really show how their platform combined with some of our native features helps organizations operationalize their unstructured data at scale.
Wonderful. Thank you, Hobby. Thank you, Oliver. Looking forward to this conversation.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So here's a quick look of today's agenda. This will be a short 30-minute session. We'll start by setting the stage on the value and challenges of unstructured data, why it's become such a critical asset for organizations and why it's historically been so difficult to operationalize. From there, we'll talk about why unstructured data is essential to our customer base and how Snowflake has been enabling our customers to bring it together with some of their structured data for both analytic and AI use cases. And then we'll kind of shift over into Olivier's section, and hear about what Diskover's built. We'll walk through their solution and how they directly address these challenges, operating within the walls of Snowflake, right? So to help customers ingest, curate, activate this unstructured data at scale. And then lastly, we'll wrap up with a short Q&A covering topics like deployment effort, time to value, ROI, things like that. With that, let's get started. Sap, I'll hand it over to you.
I think, Hobby, you mentioned the role of unstructured data in enterprise for AI, right? A lot of the value that the customers are trying to get from AI is contingent upon their ability to break down silos of data. Because data is not generated in one homogeneous system, right? You have your knowledge management repositories that are content, you have your emails services, you have your ERP, your CRM. All these different applications and systems are generating data. And historically, if you look at what data customers have been analyzing in BI and analytics, was primarily structured data coming from these systems of records, right? With generative AI and LLMs, unstructured data, multimodal data like audios, videos, files that combine textual representation with images and videos, all of a sudden become analyzable, right? You can have an LLM model, a machine learning solution that can go through multimodal data and analyze that. That's what we do at Snowflake, right? You bring presentation, PowerPoint presentation, Excel files, PDF documents, and you can give it to Cortex and Snowflake Intelligence, and we can analyze this unstructured multimodal data in a seamless manner. In order to break down the silos of data and make unstructured data accessible for your AI system, we invested in OpenFlow. It's a fully managed Snowflake service that allows customers to move data from structured, semi-structured, and unstructured data sources into Snowflake for analytics and AI, right? Now, if you, as a customer, you have data in knowledge management repositories like SharePoint or Google Drive, or you have data sitting in Slack, you will be able to use OpenFlow. We have connectors out of the box that not only bring the multimodal data, which is like the files, but it also parses those files. It chunks the file, creates the vector embedding so you can build a RAG application, or your AI agents can consume the information coming from these data sources. Now, the biggest problem with unstructured data is a lot of the unstructured data is not sitting necessarily in these knowledge management repositories. You have on-prem appliances and storage devices that have been gathering unstructured data for many, many years. So one of the fundamental problem that the customers are trying to solve for discovery of those unstructured data, like where are my unstructured data sources? But once they know that, then we can give them a path to bring the most important unstructured data into Snowflake for downstream analytics. And this is where we came across Diskover, one of our Snowflake venture partners, and they have been investing and thinking deeply about kind of harnessing all the unstructured metadata, making it searchable and consumable for services like OpenFlow, and helping breaking down the data silos across on-prem and cloud infrastructure, right? So this is where the partnership is so synergistic and complementary. And Diskover also saw OpenFlow as a vehicle to move the unstructured metadata into Snowflake and also move data, the actual files, the multimodal files, into Snowflake for Cortex and Snowflake Intelligence to consume. So I would love to kind of hear about Olivier, about Diskover. I mean, those of us in this webinar and trying to understand what you guys do, if you want to give a quick overview of Diskover.
Yeah, and just before I give a quick overview, just to reiterate on what you've been talking about, what we've seen is a lot of workload is being done on on-prem and legacy storage system, and we see that at a massive scale. So our customer base in different industry manages like billions of files and potentially multi-petabyte infrastructure. You can think of media and entertainment, you can think of life science, healthcare, EDA, energy, and much more. And part of this massive amount of data is the key to accelerate product delivery to market. You want to be able to securely leverage your intellectual property with modern AI solution like Snowflake to accelerate and generate business outcomes. So let me quickly give you a quick presentation on what we do at Diskover. So Diskover, we help organizations manage their unstructured data from on-prem and legacy storage and also cloud buckets. At its core, Diskover is a platform that provides a global index of everything you have. The global index contains information about files like file name, path, extension, access date, modified date, and much more. And we can get that kind of information globally for every unstructured data you have. We also provide an orchestration module that lets you move data from anywhere to anywhere. That could be from a file system to a cloud bucket or a file system to the Snowflake platform. That way, we provide a global search engine, global analytics, and extensibility for agentic workflows. The way our platform works is very straightforward. First, we index and enrich all the data you have in your unstructured landscape. Once we have everything in the index, we provide a global search and discovery tool. That way, people can search for their file based on their name, but also it could be based on project related to or who's the owner of a specific file. We also provide data intelligence so we can give metrics about age of the file, number of video file, or number of files associated to a specific project. We also provide an AI assistant that lets you ask natural language queries to your unstructured data by using Model Context Protocol. And with all this knowledge, we can start doing curation of the data. The curation part is very critical, especially when we talk about 100 million files or even 100 billion files on multi-petabyte infrastructure. We can help organizations figure out what is the most relevant data for a specific project, and a project could be something like we need to build an AI pipeline for all the text file of this specific project that is part of a specific directory in your infrastructure. The big challenge with building an AI pipeline is to provide the right data. You don't want to necessarily push everything you have in your organization into a platform like Snowflake. You want to make sure that it's only the relevant data and the most recent data. That is why you need an engine that can help you curate and figure out what's the most important data set. Once you create this data, Diskover can start orchestrating this data, and the platform can push the data to another location. It could be a classic workflow that we've been doing for a long time, which is moving data from a file system to an archive bucket, but it could also start to feed AI pipeline or a platform like Snowflake. The important aspect of this is that we can continuously push this data as new data is created or modified. On this slide, we're looking at how the integration between Diskover and Snowflake OpenFlow transforms the way we handle unstructured data. Traditionally, preparing this data for analysis took weeks, and now we've compressed that timeline into minutes. In this diagram, this is where you can see how OpenFlow is ingesting data coming from Diskover, transforming this data, and then putting the data into Snowflake. The core of this solution is a scalable low-code pipeline. This allows us to stream unstructured data and metadata directly into Snowflake at scale, providing rapid ingestion that is ready for immediate machine learning workload. What makes this unique is the intelligent curation layer. Diskover identifies, like I said earlier, and organizes the file, while OpenFlow ensures the scaling capability and transformation layer to bring this data into the Snowflake platform. Ultimately, this integration positions Snowflake as a single source of truth. By unifying unstructured data with existing operation and business intelligence, you are able to bridge silos, like you said earlier, Sap, and uncover cross-domain insights that were previously hidden.
This is very, very powerful. And Olivier, just want to kind of highlight that a lot of the customer conversations when we have around unstructured data, they don't know where all the data is, right? Because of the proliferation of unstructured data in on-prem appliances, some sitting in cloud storage buckets, some in knowledge management repository. So the work you are doing to curate the metadata, creating the search index, and then giving customers the ability to selectively start pushing data into Snowflake is very powerful. It's kind of finding the needle in the haystack and making all of your unstructured data now all of a sudden accessible to the powerful AI solutions on Snowflake.
This is actually a use case with an existing customer that we have in media and entertainment. And you can see, and this is how they're deployed technically. And on this diagram, you can see that they have their own infrastructure with their storage and even cloud storage that are scattered in different locations. The way we deploy the platform is we deploy an agent that is connected to those storage. And I think for this specific use case, they have like 400 petabytes of data and more than 15 billion files. Once this is deployed, they also deployed part of the Diskover application in their AWS account alongside the OpenFlow service. And from there, they can start feeding metadata from their unstructured data to OpenFlow. This data is then transformed and pushed into Snowflake. For a specific subset of data, OpenFlow is requesting the file blob, so the actual content of the file for further introspection, leveraging Cortex AI to enrich this data and feed into Snowflake. They're also pushing other data sources to start doing correlation between this unstructured data and project management solution and telemetry that they have in their infrastructure. The outcome of this is all the relevant data converging into Snowflake for analytics and AI. Their Snowflake platform becomes a single source of truth for all their unstructured, operational, and business data. And the problem we're solving with this solution is an efficiency problem. At the beginning, the objective was just to reduce the time to get reports from the IT department to the management team. When the management team was asking for some reports and operation cost and forecasts, they were asking their IT department to generate and create those reports. Generating those reports would take more than a week to capture all this scattered data. Once they have all the data, they can share that with the management team, but the data was already out of date because it was a week old. The strength of this offering is more than just getting report more efficiently. you can actually ask a question about data that you need by using Snowflake Intelligence. So this is a screen capture of Snowflake Intelligence. You can clearly see Snowflake Intelligence beginning analyzing the question, integrating datasets from all the sources that they're pushing, from unstructured data, project management information, internal cost. Uh, the the surprising part also is this Snowflake Intelligence offers a significant flexibility, moving beyond a specific report, right? It enables you to ask deeper follow-up question and help you analyze why, for example, the project cost has increased compared to the previous month. For the specific customer, this is just the first initiative, and next they plan to centralize media and other content by ingesting it for deeper introspection using Cortex AI.
Awesome. Thank you, Olivier and Sap, for that overview and insight on unstructured data. It's really interesting what you guys are doing. Now moving into the Q&A, I think we have a few questions top of mind, but we'll kick things off. So Olivier, suppose I'm a company. If we were to deploy Diskover, how long does it typically take, and relatively how much effort is it required to ingest, let's say, our first 10 terabytes of unstructured data into Snowflake?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's really straightforward. Our platform, the only requirements are a VM or server in your infrastructure close to your storage, with the right credential to access the storage. And usually the configuration phase should not take more than 2 to 3 hours to start ingesting data into Snowflake.
Great. And kind of as a follow-up on that one, suppose our unstructured data lives across, many different environments, on-prem, S3, blob. Can Discover truly give us a single unified view, and a consistent ingestion pipeline across all of them?
Yes, the Discover platform is like an agnostic layer that bridge any data or any data source to Snowflake. So we become this kind of like API or bridge between everything you have from cloud buckets, on-prem different storage to, in this use case, the Snowflake platform.
Awesome. So, as a follow-up to that, how should a customer think about the journey of using Discover to find unstructured data? What is the true end-to-end solution? And I guess, in short, would you be able to just, from a high level, recap the synergies and partnership between Discover, OpenFlow, and Snowflake?
That's a really good question, Hobby, right? So as we mentioned, I look at Discover as a way for you to understand where your unstructured data is, right? Is it on-prem? Is it in cloud storage bucket? They have built the solution to curate the metadata, create an index, make your unstructured data truly searchable. And Discover has also built a connector on OpenFlow that lets customers to now get all of that metadata in Snowflake for you to analyze that, ask questions using Snowflake Intelligence against that data, the metadata. And then if you want to bring part of the actual file information, multimodal data from those storage systems into Snowflake, Discover also enables that. They have built an OpenFlow connector that lets customer to then continuously ingest multimodal data from those storage systems into Snowflake for AI solutions, right? So Diskover is the solution that helps you to find, index, and their connector using OpenFlow brings that metadata and actual files into Snowflake. So it's very complementary and synergistic.
Great, thank you. Very insightful from both of you, so I appreciate your guys' time. With that, wanted to thank everyone for joining today. If there's any follow-up questions, don't hesitate to reach out to the team here. And yeah, hope to see you all soon. Thanks.